Coming to you from the heart of the Great White North. Welcome to the Canadian Prepper Podcast. Immerse yourself in the world of preparedness with insights from seasoned experts and a touch of Canadian practicality. Your go-to source for all things survival, resilience, and self-reliance. Now, let's kick off another episode packed with knowledge and strategies to ensure you're ready for whatever life may throw your way. Stay tuned and let the journey to preparedness begin.
Welcome to episode number 239 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We are recording on May the 26th, 2024. My name's Eric, host of the show, based in Southern Ontario, hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator, and of course, computer geek. As a first responder, witnessed an over-reliance on emergency services during major events, started a small preparedness company to help people get better prepared for at least 72 hours, if not longer.
And I'm Jeff. I'm based in Central Ontario, but I am presently in Southern Ontario. Target shooter, ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and weather nerd.
And I'm Brad. I'm in Eastern Ontario, part-time amateur prepper, constantly trying to better myself.
My name's Pierre. I'm a tactical beard owner, t-shirt guru guy, government critique, and the reason we hit the explicit button.
We love you for that, buddy. I'm the Frugal Gunny. I recently moved to Northern Ontario, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I'm a roamer, an off-gridder, a shooter, a hunter, fisher, gatherer, trapper type, and a generalist. And it's only recently that I came to accept that I'm a prepper.
Welcome
I'm Terry. I live in sunny Central Ontario. Starving indie author, terrible hunter, and pathetic fisherman. And I'm here to glean good advice from these guys.
We're not buying forwards.
Yeah. Well, I don't listen to that advice.
Apparently not, because you already have one. If you're enjoying the show and want to help support it, you can buy some swag. We have both the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt and the tactical Velcro patch at www.prepperpodcast.ca. All the proceeds help cover our podcast costs.
And if you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes and submit a review wherever you found us. We want your feedback, even if it's bad. We also invite you to reach out and tell us about something you learned this week. You can email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
All right, so we've got some packed up content for you in this episode. We're going to start off as usual with some news. Then we're going to get into our personal preps and what we've done since the last episode. Then we're going to get into the main topic. We're talking about bug out bags, 72-hour bags, get home,
bags.
something with bags, all the bags. Let's move into the news, shall we?
Well, it looks like I'm the only one with some news today. So the MV Dali was finally refloated and cleared from the demolished bridge in Baltimore. They keep saying, and they've been on track so far, that they hope the total area will be cleared and be open by the end of the month. So they'll have it the full 400-foot width open. I think they had, was it 70 feet or 80 feet? They're hoping to have pretty well everything cleared up. So that'll be good for supply chain stuff. Although I will admit, I thought there would be a lot more issues with supply chain over that, and there really wasn't. Or if there was, I really wasn't hearing anybody complaining. So that worked out very well.
Or you were just prepared for it.
A little bit on the political side, just situational awareness, as everybody knows. The Iranian president was killed in a helicopter crash. At this point, it does not appear that there was anything malicious, but you never know. With them, obviously, you can't trust them. You can't trust their media. Not that you can trust ours either, but it just appears that for whatever reason, the pilot decided to fly in a snowstorm and hit a mountain. So that'll teach him to do that.
We all make one big mistake.
Yeah, it was a big one.
A big oopsie.
You won't make it again.
Yeah. Nope.
There's that.
No.
All right. Well, with that, let's move into what we've done lately for preps while someone gets ready for bedtime, apparently.
That's me.
Not
Fucking lullabies.
Got the lullabies playing. Ford people, we need our rest.
Great.
It's very rest for all the walkers
Make them
tomorrow.
strong to push that truck, right?
You got to keep her up. You got to keep it up. Yeah.
All right, let's start it with Brad, shall we?
Well, work. Plenty of yard work in the last few weeks when I can. Did a bit of little fuel rotation and some gifting of fuel. Lent some fuel out to one of my stepson's friends so they could go to an event yesterday. Fixed an issue that I had with one weed eater. Still working on the second weed eater to get it going. We've had our camp trailer opened and tested out once by both kids here. They had a little weekend shindig, whatnot, each of them in it, one at a time. Planning out the deck build over the next month. That is going to be built next month. Planning out our next Costco trip. Should be the big buy for the year, and then hopefully have to not go again for a while, and then more work and some more work. That's me.
Got to work to do the Costco trip.
Yep.
Have you seen the price of grapes?
Some people do.
I lost my mind today. My God. I knew that was going to come up.
Yep.
Of course. How big was the bag?
Just regular size bag of grapes. I thought it would
Could
be,
you fit it in your go bag?
You could, yes. Not for $14, you couldn't. Jesus. Man, that was crazy. Lost my mind.
I look outwardly calm, but inside I just had a conniption fit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now you know what it's like to be a Ford driver.
Yeah. Hey. Pick on the Ford guys now.
I popped down to I don't know, Southern Ontario. I don't particularly like it down here. There's too many people. I'm not a people person anymore. Anyways, opened up my mom's trailer, got everything cleaned out, got all the water hooked up, cleaned the outside, got a bit of the green mossy crap off it that collected over the winter, got the deck all power washed and cleaned up, did a little bit of fuel rotation. And last week before I came down here, I helped a friend get a tree off her back deck that fell down in one of the windstorms, caused some damage to her deck. Nothing huge, but enough that insurance will have to be involved. So
It's never good when that happens.
No.
For myself, got the garden going, so got some stuff transplanted out to the garden, planted a few other things, and now we wait to see if I fail or we actually get some stuff. Time will tell. Yard work finally. So the lawn tractor needed a lot of TLC, so finally got it up and running. Unfortunately, the whippersnipper or weed eater or whatever the heck you want to call the things, that is not running still after quite a long time of back and forth in the chat and trying to get things kind of figured out with it, and basically ripping my arm off trying to get the stupid thing started. And I've just conceded and decided it is dead, and it's time for a new one, mainly because I may have smashed the heck out of it.
Ooh.
It usually doesn't work if you do that.
It happens. Yeah. So, you know,
it's called stress relief.
True. It's about 13 years old. It owes me nothing. And you know what? The fact I got that many years out of the thing, I'll take it. So it's time for a new one. But did learn a lot while I was trying to troubleshoot it. So I'll take that.
Sometimes
beyond that,
this is the way to go.
Yeah. Yes. Beyond that, just been battling a wonderful plague that one of my children brought home from daycare. It has been a literal shitstorm around here. Yeah.
Squirt, squirt.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sure you cough carefully at that point.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
Never trust a fart.
No.
Ugh.
So that's been a ton of fun.
Yeah. So as for me, lots of work. Building a new desk and shelves. Food rotation. We had some people over on the long weekend. Did some skid steer work. Still got the fire pit going. That's all good. only fucked up 3 cuts while building the desk. So thankfully I bought an extra 2x4 because always buy a few extras, because even though I was like, nah, this will work, cut, and I'm walking in and I'm like, fucking wrong angle. God
Damn.
Yeah. So as Brad came over and I was like, I've got like a whole 2x4.5, and I'm like, yeah, those are all just messed up cuts. Like, only needed 3 of them, but made sure to buy an extra one. Yep, pretty much keep them, but it worked out.
It was a small pile of scrap.
Yeah, there was
You
only a few
needed
messed up
something
cuts,
to
but-
start the fire.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me. Yeah. So, yeah, it was fun though. Everything's still standing. We put weight on it and it hasn't fallen, so I think
That's
I did
good.
okay. Yep. Nothing's
Nice.
rolling off of it, so I think it's level. We're good.
Cheers.
Nice. Frugal.
Well, what have I been up to? All kinds of stuff, mostly a lot of work, but I went spring bear hunting.
Ooh.
No bear to talk about, so
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot of deer signs, so I might have found a new deer spot, so that's all right. Other than that, I've been busy helping out with family PC woes, and I'm almost done completing the truck setup for the summertime, and so I should be good for the next couple of years. They're flipping between winter and summer.
Nice.
That's what I've been up to.
Very nice.
I like what Denny says in the chat there. No such thing as scrap wood, Pierre. Just haven't found the project yet.
Oh, there's a man after my own heart.
There you go.
If anybody needs if anybody needs like, I don't know, 6-inch offset 45 cuts, let me know. Yeah, there was supposed
was
to
it
Pierre has a few of them.
yeah.
Who was it in the group that was talking about the guy who has that odd piece of wood that keeps it for about 20 years and then he finds a use for it and it's glory time? Yeah. I could be that guy too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
My
We all
father
think
taught
I
me
think.
well.
It's a guy thing.
I think so.
And me, I just planted my garden. That's what we got going on here. Just garden.
Hey,
Kept
that's
me
all right.
entertained.
Oh, very nice.
I uncovered mine doing the yard work.
Okay,
There you go.
that counts. That counts.
I found where it's supposed to go.
That's good.
I
Okay.
haven't put anything in it yet, but I found where it's supposed to go.
Well, you know,
Getting there. It's getting there.
you're getting there.
Baby
Next
steps.
episode, we'll hear that you've planted something, I'm sure.
That grass, it grew back.
Perfect. Oh boy. All right. Well, with that, let's move into the main topic, shall we? So this evening, the topic actually came from a discussion on the Discord where people were talking about the differences between 72-hour bags, bug out bags, get home bags,
Inch bag.
EDC bags, whatever. There's so many different names in the preparedness world for different bags and different equipment and different things that we like to carry around and reference and talk about. And it gets confusing after a while as to what the heck do all these different bags mean, or what are their purposes, or what is all these different things stand for. So we figured we'd do an episode that just kind of breaks down the different types of bags that you hear people talk about, because it's a pretty popular thing in the prepper world to have a bag and be ready for pretty much anything, right? So I'm just going to mute Terry here for a second. It sounds like he's smashing the place. There we go. So Terry went on a little bit of a rampage in this trailer. He's either fighting a bear or he's looking for a bag of some sort to help him out in his fight.
Gunny,
So
Gunny, quick, go help Terry.
Or that mosquito.
I'm on the way.
Pesky mosquito.
there we go. We'll unmute him.
Mosquito,
Terry, are you
sorry.
still alive?
Mosquito. Big
Oh,
one, ugly one.
Oh,
Sorry, Eric.
that's all right. That's what I got the powerful mute button for. And it adds a little bit of entertainment as well. So, like I was saying, we want to talk about the different types of bags. Maybe we'll talk about a specific one for killing mosquitoes for Terry too. It sounds like he could use it, but figured I'd open the floor up. I know I've got some points in the chat, and everybody else does as well. But figured to just open the floor up to just a general conversation about what everybody kind of has bag wise, what you name it, what you call it, why you call it, what you call it, and what you carry. And then we can discuss it. And of course, the live chat as well. If you guys want to jump in and ask questions or throw in what you have, by all means, please do. We'll get it in the show.
Well, I'll throw the start here, I guess. I'm the one that suggested it, but Doesn't matter if anybody else wants to go. I kind of have two separate bags. I've really only listed one. I call it my go bag. Simple, because where I go, it goes. So it's my go bag. Basically, it's the bag that I take with me. I mean, if I'm just around town or something, I don't take it. But if I'm going out of town or whatever, and it's basically a bag to get me home. It's not my bug out bag. It's just a bag that I have that I feel I've got pretty well most of the stuff to get me home if I need to abandon my vehicle and go out on foot. So I've got the basics, snacks, water, got a Life Straw, sorry Ian. However, I did order a Sawyer Mini. I'm just waiting for it to come in. Kind of excited about that actually.
Where's the kick button?
I've thrown in a couple of extra water purification tablets just in case. I've got a tarp, small tarp. It's still in the bag. It's probably about a 10 by 10. Paracord, duct tape. I've got a rain poncho, and it's got multiple uses for that rain poncho. Obviously, keep me dry. I can put it over top of the tarp if I set it up in a tent formation to keep that dry. Or you can use the paracord, put it between a couple of trees, and use it to catch water. Whether it's dew or it's raining or something like that, you can use it to catch water. Obviously, a knife. Something that I didn't have one time, and I wished I did, and now it's in there, is sunscreen. I didn't even think about it. You're out in the sun, obviously. It's, you know what, having a sunburn is not a good thing. I've got a compass, a small flashlight, obviously my handheld radio, and a first aid kit. That was all I could kind of think
booster
of.
Pack,
I didn't actually go in and... Pardon?
Still no booster pack, huh?
Oh, the booster pack's in the truck now. It's not in my bag. It's just in the truck and staying there.
Okay. All right. I had to poke at that. Yeah.
So
yeah.
On top of your sunscreen,
I know, a Chevy rescuing a Toyota again.
Something to keep in mind for everybody here, and the sunscreen I had never thought of before, Jeff, and that's awesome. A hat or multiple bandanas.
Good point.
To use one to cover your head, put one around your neck to be like a sweatband, whatnot. You can use it to make a sling for an arm, or again, they've got multiple uses. And I'm just thinking that might be something else that, the sunscreen after a while, if it's the spray stuff, it may leak. If it's the lotion stuff, it may go bad after a while. Bandana, unless the mouse got to it, you keep it in like a sealed Ziploc bag. Unless a mouse got to it, it's pretty much going to be still damn good for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
And I would, in case you haven't been outside lately, I would add bug spray to that list. This time of year. Sunscreen, obviously, still keep in the winter. You can still get a sunburn in the winter. But bug spray would probably be something. Nothing sucks more than if you got to walk a few kilometers and you're getting eaten alive and all that stuff. Definitely not enjoyable. So,
or even if you're just on a podcast one Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Terry.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes are having their way with me here, as a matter of fact. They seem to have found a large gaping hole in here somewhere that I don't know about.
So
we'll get the flashlight out and interrogate them.
There were other things I've thought about putting in there, and I could put in there, and I just wanted to keep it as simple as I could, as light as I could. So, obviously, if you're traipsing on foot, the last thing you need is a ton of weight and a whole bunch of other stuff to slow you down, wear you out. So I just kind of kept it to the bare minimum for that. Obviously, my other bag has got a ton more stuff in it, but I'll let somebody else cover theirs.
So that
I'm like
just to throw it out there. Sorry, Brad.
No, go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say, so you refer to that as just your go bag, Jeff? There's I would kind of call that more like an everyday carry kind of bag. This is where we kind of get into the the naming conventions, and this is, I think, where everybody gets confused because people will call it different things for different purposes. But as long as you know what it's for, it doesn't matter what somebody else calls it.
Yeah. So I'm like Jeff. I have 2 bags. I have a small. It's originally a Camelback bag meant for running. It just keeps the Camelback and a few other little things in it. I actually have the Camelback that goes into it. It's just not in it. But that's my small bag, small ouch kit, meds, EpiPens, small snacks, battery banks, Cat 5 tourniquet, sunglasses, phone charger cables, the basic stuff that, like, Pierre, you've seen that little tiny blue one that I've got. It goes everywhere. And it's pretty small. Yeah. Like, if my wife put it on, you would think it's a large purse.
Yeah.
It's a small knapsack for her to wear. Like, my daughter's 14 can put that on. Pierre's daughter can put that on. She's 12, and you wouldn't think anything of it. Just looks like a normal knapsack, but it goes with me everywhere.
Yeah.
My second bag is the larger one. That's the Rush 24, right, Pierre?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
you got
one
the
you guys got me?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 24 a few years ago. Yeah.
And that one's got more of the bigger stuff in it. Small stove with fuel, water purifying elements. Yes, there is a LifeStraw, but there's also a Sawyer Mini. I've got those foldable water bags that they actually screw onto the Sawyer. Purification tablets, change of socks and underwear, phone cables, battery bank, another tourniquet in that one, a bigger med kit, N95 masks, sunglasses. Yes, I have can openers in there. I have multiples. Rope, knife, small saw, small hand tools, snacks, fire starters, multiple different ways for fire starting. And I actually, when thinking about all this tonight as to what's in it, I do have to actually go through it, change some stuff out, because I'm pretty sure some of those snacks are gone, and just to see if anything else is leaked out or broken, or make sure things still work, like the flashlights, make sure the batteries are still okay to use, and change them out if I need to.
Yep.
Checking your equipment. Who'd have thought?
Yeah. The other thing, sorry, Jeff, you had mentioned a tarp. One thing I found that folds a little bit flatter than a tarp is a shower curtain.
Interesting.
Use that as instead of a tarp.
Yeah, interesting.
Some of them are actually pretty thick, and if you bought like even if go to the dollar store and buy 3 or 4 shower curtains, they take the space usually of about a 5x8 or an 8x8 tarp, but you can fit 3 in the same space. They already have ringlets in them. Pick up a package of shower curtain rings. Now you can actually hang it somewhere to use as a curtain, or like you said, Jeff, put the other end up and have it as a shelter or as a water catchment system, and you still have more of them to use. I do have a poncho and a couple of emergency blankets in it as well.
Very nice.
Let's hear it for the poncho.
Love the poncho.
I'm a full supporter of the poncho. Oh man, this camera's doing weird stuff with my thumb. Never mind.
She's like, Kyle in the live chat there has a good point. We cannot forget to carry our 3-foot trampolines, just in case stuff starts dropping from the sky.
Okay, Scott.
Very important.
I like that one.
Yes. That goes back many episodes ago when we were talking about trampolines and asteroids and all kinds of fun stuff.
Zombie apocalypse.
It was a great episode.
Where was I for that one?
Not
I don't
here.
think you were around yet.
Nope.
Yeah. You hadn't joined us yet.
Sounds like a fun one.
It was a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll jump in here. So one of my kit carrier EDC kit, and I mentioned, but I know it's shocking, but I've got some radios in there just because where would I be without radios? Some snacks, some water. I know, right? Change of clothing, just because that's key. Booster pack is in there as well. and just a small little first aid kit. So everyone's kind of touched on the tourniquet. That's something that all my packs have in common, tourniquet across all of them. And then just, some Band-Aids, some gauze, some little things that you're going to come across, just some little minor fix-ups, but nothing too crazy. And then I've got a kit at home that's just like a home-based thing. So it has all those similar things as my EDC or my Go bag. But then it's got a larger first aid kit. I've got some freeze-dried food packed in there and some vac-packed food as well that I can get into if I need to. And then there's another kit that I carry with me all the time, but it's not necessarily one like everyone else kind of referenced. It's not something that I'm going to be carrying with me all the time. It's in the vehicle, but it doesn't come and go with me building the building, or it doesn't come into the house. It's always in the car. And it's based off of the Rush 72. So Brad, you mentioned you had the 24. So it's a bit of a bigger bag. It's got all the same things as I've already mentioned, a couple radios, a little bit of a bigger first aid kit, added layers of clothing depending on the season, right? So I'll go through the seasons and change things out as needed depending on what I'm expecting weather-wise. Some maps of the local area, compass, lighters, all that kind of stuff. Printed out list of repeaters in the area, so if I need them for my radio, for whatever reason my programming hasn't caught one, I've got all the reference to localized repeaters printed out in hard copy. USB stick with copies of important ID and such that I may or may not need. Encrypted, of course. Everybody calm down. All the nerds listening. It's encrypted. Some paracord, duct tape, candles, and then I added some freeze-dried food in there as well. There's some other stuff probably floating around in there that I haven't accounted for, but it's kind of my bigger bag that doesn't leave the car. But if I had to pick it up and go with it, I could, but it's got some heft to it, so I'm not going far with it. And I, it's important to recognize that with your kits as well, what they can be used for, how far you think you're going to be able to go with them, what their realistic carry time is going to be for them, because people go overboard, and I'm guilty of it too, going overboard in the kits and just loading everything into them and then realizing this thing's pretty darn heavy. Yeah, you're not going to go too far with it. But
my 24, it's like your car bag, Eric. It sits in the truck. That's it.
Yep.
If I was going to, I don't know, North Bay, yeah, sure, I'm going to throw it into whatever vehicle I'm traveling in, and my other small bag as well, so I can get out of Dodge with that real quick if I had to. But yeah, that bigger one, like I don't take it in my work truck with me every day. My small one goes with me instead, and the big one stays in my pickup. And it'll get me
always
home.
Know where it is.
Yep.
What I found is at first I also had just one bug out bag, but then pretty quickly it evolved into doing the modular thing. And so there was a little bit of a bushcraft bag, there was first aid bags, and then pretty soon it was the vehicle that changed. So I went from having a little Ford SUV that was a piece of junk. Sorry, Terry. It's a piece of garbage. Well, if you're spending $3,500 a year to maintain it, it's a piece of junk.
Agreed.
That's all I got to say about that. So anyway, as that evolved, I found that I had reliable transportation, and all of a sudden I became ultra modular, but with the truck being kind of the centerpiece of where it all went. And at first, of course, I went way overboard. And recently I've started trimming back quite a bit, mostly because I may have to abandon my vehicle. I'm in cities now. And yeesh.
Gross.
Things can happen to you in the city. You might have to abandon your vehicle. So I've accepted now that amongst all the multitudes of bags that have proliferated, and I'm not going to bore you all with the million types that I've got, but I've got a few bags back there now.
Have you thought about dynamite?
Am I the only one that got a picture of Frugal in town?
He doesn't drive a Ford anymore. He doesn't need the dynamite.
But hear me out here. If he's got to abandon his vehicle, why leave more stuff for somebody you don't like? Blow it the fuck up.
There's always a fire kit on me at any time. So,
hey,
if I have to do the scorched earth thing is doable. But I do have, in the end, yes, I do have a 72-hour bag or a 1-week bag because I got that much food. There's a get home bag. There is a it's all gone to hell, and this is all I can take with me. And that's my bag that I featured in my driver's EDC. But you have to make choices as to what works for your lifestyle. If you have a fairly normal schedule, you're always in the same places, same time, you've always got the same vehicle, then it's pretty easy for you to make some kit choices. When, like me, you've had a lot of variability in how you live and where you go and the way you live, you kind of have to adapt everything we're talking about to how you do things, right? So yeah, definitely. It can go modular, and that's the way I recommend people go for themselves. If you get to a point where you're trying to stick everything in one place, well, that doesn't really work. So divide it up into smaller containers, smaller bags, smaller kits. If you've got a family, you're going to have a lot more stuff to think about when you're bugging out. So it might just be more than a bug out bag. You might have some bug out bins, right? You
Good
might
point.
have to, if you've got young children, you're going to have the baby bag. You're not going to leave without that baby bag. You're going to go absolutely crazy without it. So you need that. So the definition of what's bug out, I think, evolves quite a bit over time. It certainly has for me.
Yeah.
In just a short
And
period.
it also just based on personal preference and personal requirements, completely changes the terminology of bug out and what you need and what you may think where you think you're going.
Very much so. Have any of you had friends or know somebody who personally uses CPAP? CPAP, for those of you who might not know or listening in, if you've never known anybody who has issues with sleep apnea, it's a device that you have to wear when you're sleeping. Now, those things require a fair amount of juice, a fair amount of power to operate. So bugging out for you, if you have one of those, might mean you need to have all the mobile kit you need with it, as well as a power source that's mobile with you when you go. So, yeah, Eric's right. All of those things that you have to adapt in your life to bug out, you have to consider, of course. And that's going to define what your bug out looks like. If it's just a bug out, maybe you bug in. That's another show, isn't it?
That's another bag,
Whole
isn't
other show.
it? There's a bag for every scenario. That's the fun part about this episode and just the
Yes.
whole building bags for preparedness. There's so many different things, and like you touched on there, they can be modular, which is kind of nice because you can set them all up, you can connect them all together, tear one off, you got to go do something, put it back, grab two parts of the modular setup if you need to go do something, come back to it. It's an interesting kind of way of getting things organized and set up and ready to go if you need them, and having them all contained in one central location. So if that scenario hits, you're not running around going, oh, this is over here, and it was over here, but now it's over here. You've got everything all interconnected and ready to go. And I think that's kind of where people like to go ahead, Brad.
Makes a good comment there.
Yep.
Family,
Which
wife, 7-year-old, 6-month-old, then himself. So, yeah, I can understand constantly reworking everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact,
And even without
Plus, if
even
you've
without
got
kids, you're
growing
reworking
kids-
constantly.
Yeah, if
Yes.
you have growing kids, right? I have a 20-year-old and a 14-year-old. The 20-year-old's most likely done growing. It might just be wider and not taller. The 14-year-old, she's still going to grow. So you're
That's right.
constantly thinking, especially if you've got. Oh yeah, I love that comment. Got to have.
We need to take a panel vote. Do we kick Kyle
Yes.
now,
Yes.
or do we let him stay?
Yes. Yes.
Because the comment in the live chat is Bluetooth speaker, gotta have my T Swift songs with a lot of exclamation marks. I'm voting on kick. Maybe we just put him on the trampoline and bounce him out like the meteorites.
Tell
This
Scott,
is a hard one,
tell
gents.
Scott Catch.
Send him the fucking universe. Yeah.
Boo.
All right, you can have your Bluetooth speaker, Kyle. You can stick around, I suppose.
We need someone on track to distract so we can get away. So thank you. You're the sacrificial lamb.
But I love what Kyle injects there about music. And one of the things that I feature in my bug out truck, I suppose is what it is now, is a bug bag, because I might be a bush guy. I might love being out there in nature. the shot that you have there, if you're watching us on YouTube, the shot that you have in my background, I actually took myself at one of the places where I've been. And so they all look beautiful on camera. But if you're out there and you have a certain metabolism or a certain taste to the bugs, you are being predated against hardcore. And so, I mean, like mosquitoes and bugs that can fly away with your small children. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So if you are particularly tasty to those things, I might recommend a literal bug bag. That's what I call mine. It's the bug bag. And I talk about modularity because it's something that I don't use in the wintertime. It's one of the things I really like about winter. But come springtime, for example, for the bear hunt, I pulled it out, and in there I had a mesh hat net, a mesh shirt. I had bug spray. I had the bug cream. I even had mosquito picks and a mosquito coil container. So I call that my bug bag. And that's one of the examples of modularity. Another one that I particularly am fond of is my bushcrafting bag. It's something that if I have to go wander off into the bush with for an extended period of time, I've got everything in there I need to kind of whittle away at wood and fabricate things on the go. And making a little stove so I can make food and things like that. So think of the things that you do and like to enjoy doing, and the items that you like to have, the bare minimum items you like to have for those activities, and let that guide your bag compositions. I'm curious to hear what everybody else has for different kinds of bags. That's what I'm interested in. I've got fishing bags, hunting bags. I got a recovery bag. I've got a rigging bag, and it all comes in and out of the truck as I need. So I want to hear what other people have. That is weird and off the beat.
And you've just recently accepted you're a prepper?
Yeah. So
Took a long time to figure that one out, huh?
It did, actually. When I was a young lad, you see, I was once a combat engineer, and it made a heavy imprint on me because I was the driver for my section. And when you're the driver for your section as a combat engineer, you're kind of responsible for everything that goes in the truck. And that depends on what you're going to do that weekend or that week. Or I was a reservist, so it was often during a weekend, but sometimes it was for a couple of weeks at a time, 2-3 weeks at a time. Sometimes we went on things that weren't exercises where we had taskings, right? But I had to think of what everybody needed in my section for the foreseeable mission and make sure it was in there, and not only in there, but well stowed away in such a way that wouldn't kill my passengers in the back, because I'm also carrying my troops, right? So it's got to be properly stowed away. And so if you do that often enough as a practice, ask anybody who's in the business of trucking or moving freight, handling a lot of gear, man, we're going to bring that to the table as our skill set. So I ended up developing this modular approach to putting things in my vehicle and being mobile, mostly as a professional hazard of what I used to do. It left a really deep imprint on me, as you can see.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that was the bridge part that fell on my head.
Phil in the
Hello?
Oh, I lost you there for a moment.
Yeah, we lost you, Eric.
Yeah.
technical issues. Yep. No.
I was going to say, was that just me or did he vanish?
Nope.
Yeah, no, it's not the first time it happened. I thought it was me. I'm like checking my wire, and then you came back. So I was like, oh, it must have been me the first time. But
no, I'm back.
Okay.
Did you guys get the part about Phil's comment?
No.
Okay, so Phil's got a comment in the live chat here about don't forget about your pet's bug out bag.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, there's a whole other set of bags for pets.
Yeah, my dog, my two dogs
shelter.
will tow Terry's Ford down the road.
Yes.
Like,
Right?
And,
Like let's
massive
admit
dogs.
too, guys. Here we're all guys on the panel right now. All right. So let's have the discussion of bug out bags, 72-hour bags, and get home bags with the ladies present. That's another one I want to consider, because what's a priority for a lot of fellas here on the
Eyeliner.
panel might completely change if you're talking to the ladies, right, guys? Am I not
It's true.
right on that?
I mean, depends. In most scenarios, little thing to get
Sometimes
home.
you need those two.
Yeah, but
Sorry, buddy.
never know. Never know. When the plague hits and you got to walk home, you never know.
Well, if you don't boil your water long enough, you just might need those to get through the day.
Right. So I've got pretty much two different types of bags that I will have. I have a work vehicle at home, so I've got a bag that normally just sits in there. It's nothing big. Change of clothes, medication stuff. So I absolutely hate buying these, and I'm sure everybody has seen them, like the 10 tablets for like $3. Those little containers. I hate spending that much for them, but I decided to bite the bullet, and I bought a few of them, and then I go home and I fill them with, Pepto-Bismol pills, the stuff to calm your stomach so that you don't have to worry about the Depends, naproxen, muscle relaxants, all those things. I've got 3-4 of these, cram them full, write down which one's got, the 2-3 sets of medication. And I don't need it for an extended period of time. So I'm like going to throw 4 or 5 pills of each, enough, let's say I got to get home and I'm not going to get there till tomorrow night. So enough that if I've got a pounding headache, a migraine, a sore back from, the ups, downs, twisted an ankle and bandage it up, just something to get you home. Always got that in the truck. Yeah. I mean, just work hazards. We've all been at work, and doesn't matter how much water you drink and everything. You just got that migraine. You're like, all right, I'll take a pill to try and get through the day without, killing people.
That's actually a really good point. Not many people touch on the Advil, Tylenol, that kind of stuff in bags. We always talk about the big trauma stuff, the tourniquets, the gauze, the bandages, all that kind of stuff. Nobody ever touches on the small little Advil, Tylenol, that kind of stuff. So really good point.
Yeah. So I've got Reactin in there, even though I don't have allergies, but you never know. Nothing sucks more than walking with a stuffed up nose or walking with someone, and, oh, you need something. I got one in the truck. And then Halls, Fisherman's Friends, whatever, in case it's that time of year where you kind of got an itchy throat. Nothing sucks more than a long walk and an itchy, something. So those little individual towelettes, they come in whatever, you put a bit of water and you can expand. So a few of those and that just sits in the work truck. And then we've put one and put them in the truck, and then we're working on putting them in the bags. So that bag's got radio, change of clothes, some snacks, mostly protein bars, something light, something I can eat 10, 15 of them because I got to get somewhere. Small first aid kits. And then I've got a small trauma pack that I would take with that bag, but that one's separate from the bag in the work truck. And then get home, hopefully real soon, we're going to be taking the bags out, and then all the bins and stuff we found, we're going to start repacking and make something that's, maybe be a little longer, get more serious with what do we put in there. And daughter's getting to the age where it's just like, okay, well, you have a bag now. You want to put all this stuff in. Can you carry the bag? Like, I'm not carrying your bag for you, right? Like, you're at the age where it's like, it's a little heavy. Can we find something lighter, or is there something we can take out? Do you really need this? Can we cut the weight down a little bit? Because, trying to get them to get involved with it. So hopefully that works out.
Right there in the live chat, Tom makes a good point there. Good point. What about age? Well, Pierre just touched on one age is younger. What about older as well?
Hopefully you're going downhill and you can just roll them down.
In a
mobility aids, friends.
Yeah.
Mobility aids.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that, and like Scott said there too, something for blisters.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Blisters, after bite, cream. You can get, I know I've got the container somewhere here. I'm probably in my cabinet, but the dollar store, you can get little, really small containers that snap pretty airtight. You can put a few ounces of cream in it, muscle relaxing cream, blisters, burn cream. If you buy in bulk and you don't want to buy the little individual packs that cost a little bit more or whatever, but you can get those, put them in Ziplocs, have that in your thing. Another thing, especially with this time of year, one thing that other than bug spray, sunscreen, and all that, have you guys ever heard of the Tickless?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little apparatus that now you can pretty much clip on anywhere. Hold the power button, it stays on for 8 hours. It sends out this frequency apparently, and you don't get ticks. I've ripped ticks off my dogs. We got them these little things, put it on their dog collar, and they were running through our buddy's property up in Marmora, through the woods, middle of summer. We were there for 4 or 5 days, Brad?
Yep.
When we went up that time, and my dogs were in the bush, never had a tick on them. We avoided getting ticks on us because of it and everything. I'm like, it's like $60, I think. I just picked one up. The daughter went camping this weekend, so I was like, hey, here, hang this around your neck, make sure it's working. Every time you stop for meals, double check, make sure it's on and everything. She came back with no ticks. They were in the middle of the woods. I don't know how long they're supposed to last, like 3,000 hours. I don't know if you can swap the batteries out, but I mean, for $60, not to have to worry about ripping a tick off every time you go out in the woods, I find that $60 is well worth it in the family, in my opinion.
Yep, I'll be buying one because I've now discovered that ticks like me too, not just mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you can go the hippy dippy way like Mel does and douse yourself in essential oil sprays. Like me and her were hunting, literally sitting next to each other. I had 2 ticks. I had to get one cut out of my back, and she had nothing. Oof. So, but when you're hunting, you probably don't want to smell like lavender, lemongrass, and who knows what. But the tick list has made a huge difference for the dogs as well as us. It might be something you have to buy every year. It might only last 2-3 years. I don't know if they've made it where you can swap the batteries out yet. Didn't look into it before she left, but it was brand new. Sure. So I'm like, yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely well worth the investment, in my opinion. It will, this time of year, you never know what you're going to have to traverse through.
Yes.
And how big is the device, Pierre?
It's like that big.
Oh, wow.
So it will fit in a bag.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Like it's, the small Bic lighters you can get?
Yep.
Yes.
Give or take, it's that size.
Wow. Okay. I must have one.
Yeah. They are crazy cheap.
Good
I
luck.
just bought one on Friday before she went, and I was like, because we couldn't find the ones that we have for the dog collars. And I'm like, she'll need it more than them. So I was like, you know what? It's not bad to get them. It was $59 tax in.
Where was that?
The store out here. Fence Depot.
Cornwall. Yes. Yep. Okay, cool.
They had a bunch of them. They've got orange ones, green ones. So hunter, non-hunter, whatever. A bunch of different colors, but well worth the investment.
Good thing. And we can fit them in a 72-hour bag, an EDC bag, a Go bag, whatever kind of bag we want.
That stupid pocket on jeans, it'll fit in that thing too.
That counts as a bag.
Perfect. Like it.
Yeah. Like that's how small it is. It would fit in that pocket. They say not to have it under anything. Have it like clip to the side of your pants, your bag. If you've got a modular bag on the back, just clip it on there. Apparently it works like, I think it's a 3 meter around you, keeps the ticks away. So far, it's worked for us. I'm not going to say you'll never get a tick, but so far it's been fantastic for us. We haven't pulled a tick off our dogs or ourselves since we've had them.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Let's cycle it back to 72-hour bags, Go bags, whatever kind of bag you want to name it. We've touched on a lot of interesting different names and different things that we carry in our bags. One thing to keep in mind, if you're new to all of this and you're trying to figure out, where do I start? What do I start to build with? What do I start to add to just a whatever you want to name it bag? Just go with skill level at the very start. If you're a beginner at this, start it with some basic stuff. What do you need on a daily basis that you think you might run into? Bottle of water, some snacks, maybe a knife, and then go from there. Start it with a very easy. Yeah, absolutely.
Figure out too how far you travel every day.
Good call. Yep.
Yeah.
I travel 100. Well, I had traveled 75 kilometers just to get to my work truck, and then, wherever they're sending me. But a few weeks ago, I was up to Stansted, which is right on the border with Vermont. Greg, our other panelist there, every so often when he decides to show up, he can see that border crossing from his house.
Yep.
That was 3.5 hours away from where I am. It's 4.5 hours away from Ottawa.
Yep.
So just imagine if you are all the way up there, how are you getting home? So from how far you normally travel to work or whatever it is to get home, like you said, Eric, your skill level also depends on that. Like, are you a 10-minute drive, so you only need one little bottle of water from the store, or are you an hour drive and you should take 5 bottles of water with you and a handful of granola bars?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be this big overwhelming exercise of I need to go out and buy everything all at once and have this giant, huge bag. Like everything that we've discussed here has been years in building and testing and swapping out and realizing what works, what doesn't work. Some of the stuff in my bag still I haven't really tested. It may not work. I don't know. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's just the whole, it's there. I think this will be good. Maybe not. But you don't have to run out and just get these giant bags. Just start it with something small. Start it with some basics, like Brad said. Figure out what your daily routine is, and then figure out some times where that's been disrupted and what would have been maybe nice to have in that disruption, and just put it in a bag. And then get in the habit of carrying that with you, and then slowly, as you get used to having that with you, it'll expand. Just let it go; it'll expand by itself. So you'll add little things as you go.
I definitely agree with Eric. The rabbit holes are so easy to fall into, and a good example, friends, if it's really simple. If you're thinking, okay, I need a way to make fire, and you're thinking up of all kinds of solvents and substances you can burn, but you don't have a Bic lighter in the kit, something's missing, right? You got to rethink your approach. The Bic lighter first, then all the other goodies, right? Am I wrong?
Nope.
100%. Nope. Make it easy on yourself and then learn the fun tricks after. Because the easy on yourself might not work, but chances are it will. So you have a backup for the easy solution.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Avoid the rabbit holes. Unless you like the rabbit holes. If you enjoy the rabbit holes
are fun.
They're fun. I mean, listen to us go.
Right? Cover the basics first. That's the thing. It's so overwhelming. There's so many different opinions on what should go in a bag, and you'll get some people in the community that say this, and this absolutely has to be, no questions, period. That works for them. Great. Yep. Might not work for you, but some of it might work. So it's one of those, and I know people hate these answers, but it's one of those it depends kind of answers, right? It really depends on your scenario, your skill level, your knowledge level, your comfort level with the equipment you're going to be carrying, right? Because if you're carrying equipment that you're not comfortable with, you may as well not carry it. And just having the knowledge of what you're carrying with you and how to use it is important and kind of forgotten at times. A lot of people, like Frugal was saying, a lot of people just like to go down the rabbit hole, grab up everything they possibly can, throw it in a bag, and now they feel safe and prepared, right? Maybe it's not exactly going to work for your scenario. So it's a very customizable kind of thing, and I think that's why it's such a topic that's discussed and talked about and questioned all the time in the preparedness community, because it's such a very specific to you thing. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you can call it whatever you want. It's a backpack or a bag of some sort. Name it what you want. Just because there's the common names out there, name it something else if you want. Doesn't matter. Throw another one in the pile so we have another episode topic to talk about.
Something Absolutely. To hold the things to make sure I survive.
Yep. Any other types of bags or contents or anything that you guys want to add or talk about?
I will just say one thing. If anybody wants to get the long version of all of this, in terms of the stuff that I carry in my mobility, come and meet me at the annual Preppers Meet. I'm going to be talking about just very topic of how to be mobile and be ready for anything that comes your way for what you do.
Oh, yeah. I'm so looking forward to the annual Preppers Meet this year.
Very much so for me.
I look forward to it every year. Who am I kidding? But this year, I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I think
it's cool every year. Terry.
Something that I don't think anybody mentioned yet is have yourself a little fishing kit in your bag if you can do it.
Yes.
I just got a small one, just in a little, like a pill bottle, and wrap it up with a little electrical tape on the outside in case you need some of that, and a couple of hooks and a few different things, some lures in there, and as some folks say, your easiest meal usually comes from the lake, which is it's an easy thing to take. And lip balm, the lip chapstick stuff. I used to find that my lips get dry when I'm out there like that a lot. tromping around. It's kind of nice to have some of that, so you don't have that issue to deal with, and it doesn't take up a lot of space either. But I think the most important thing with your bag is whatever you put in it, make sure you can carry the bloody thing, because no sense having all this gear if you can't carry it.
Yes.
Great point.
And much like Frugal, I keep extra stuff in my pickup too, like a Toyota toe strap, and sleeping bags and gloves and radios, axe saw. And then I got to mention my top secret tactical tracker. Yeah, this is something I can show you at the preppers meet. It's a walking stick. And I just got paracord wrapped around it, and then some snare wire wrapped around it, and it's got a threaded end on it. And I got this spear-headed knife that you can screw onto the end of it, so you can cut yourself a little spear if you need. Because we're not allowed to have guns here in Canada, right? Not allowed to carry them with you. So you can use this, keep the coyotes at bay.
I love what Terry has suggested and added here, because there is, and one of the things we did mention is, as your skill set improves also, you'll find that what becomes necessary to you in your survival in any situation might alter and change. So for example, if you learn how to whittle with a small pocket knife, you can learn how to make trap triggers. You can learn how to make fishing lures that float and will attract your various different fish. You can learn how to create all kinds of things that mean that what you need to carry with you gets greatly reduced. But I will emphasize that it does take practice and some trial and error to gain that level of comfort. So for example, Terry talked about a small fishing kit. Now for me, all I make sure of is that I have some of that survival cord that includes a little bit of fishing line inside it, as well as some fire starter, tinder, and all of this, so that if I am in a situation like Terry just described, I'm marooned in the middle of, say, the lake that I have here behind me, what can I do? Well, I can grab that twine out of that survival cord, and I can use my little pocket knife to whittle myself some sort of a floating lure, and away I go, right? And now I'm at the beginnings of a fishing experience. So but at first, you won't think like that. You'll think, oh, geez, I need to have my fishing kit. And that's the way I did it at first. And now in the bug out bag, I'm quite happy with just having a small Swiss Army knife and a little bit of paracord. And so you'll find that as your skill set increases, maybe you won't need 10 candles. Maybe you'll know that if you kill a bear, you can render the fat, and now you got yourself candles for the next year, so on and so forth, right?
Great point. Awesome. Anything else in the panel about 72-hour bags, go bags, bug out bags, get home bags, whatever bags?
There's never enough bags.
There's never enough bags.
No. I think it all depends on like we've said already, what you need to get yourself home or out of trouble, or like we've had those snowstorms. You guys down Southern Ontario have had those wicked snowstorms on the 400. People trapped in there for days, whatnot. That make sure you're aware of your surroundings and where you're traveling and your skill level and how much you need, and put those things down and figure out, what do I need to get home with? What am I comfortable carrying, and put it all into a knapsack and go for a walk.
You bring up a good point there, Brad, too. Just even looking back on previous things that have happened, like those couple of days where people were trapped on the 400 because of the big snow squalls and stuff and collisions that were happening. Look back in previous history about what's happened, previous news articles, whatever that's happened along your regular route or whatever your regular routine is, and then go, well, if I was actually there, what would I have needed? And then put that into a bag that you either carry with you all the time or stays in your car or comes and goes with you from home to your car to work, whatever you're comfortable with that way as far as transporting this bag around. But look at previous things that have happened and just put yourself in those shoes. And then that might give you some ideas of what you should maybe be carrying, because chances are it's happened before. It's going to happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the best pieces of advice.
Yeah. I saw a quote The best preparation in any emergency is knowing what to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
I don't know who said it. It's something like that anyways, but if you don't know what to do, you don't know what to prepare for, and you don't know what the history is in that area, and again, what is your skill level? How far do you want to go before you sit back and say, hey, I wait for the government to come get me?
I'm surprised how many of those fucking people are around.
More and more every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, with that, maybe we'll move into the podcast challenge. I think we've demystified a little bit, anyways, the whole 72-hour go bag, EDC, etc. So I'm sure we could make a whole other episode about it, though. But hopefully, we demystified a little bit for people. So, a podcast challenge for this episode number 239 is assess the number of bags you have. If you don't have one, get one together and just start already.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
No, Danny, I won't be waiting a very long time in the chat. I won't be waiting a long time. I got enough stuff to get myself home.
All right, we've got some upcoming events. Terry, annual preppers.
Yeah. I stuck myself in the wrong place here.
You did.
So-
I can move it.
Oh, that's okay.
There you
So the annual preppers meet, the gang of us that do this are having a little event this weekend at the site in Alliston, and it's called the if I can get this out here without the Apocalyptic Apothecary, a little event on some herbal things, and there's some information. I don't know if Eric can share the link or not, but
Sure.
it's just a kind of a one-day night thing, just on the Saturday. And maybe some people are going to stay over Saturday night, but that's basically what it's all about. And maybe a campfire Saturday night just to shoot the breeze. And Shay's going to bring his wood-fired sauna for anybody that wanted to try it out. But there's info on the Facebook page, and there's some info. Hopefully Eric can get it up. And
Yep,
if
link
not,
is
you
in
can
the
find
live
it
chat
there.
now.
Okay, and then of course the annual preppers meet just a few weeks away. We're constantly updating our presenters list and adding new events on there, so just keep up with that. And if you're new to the show and you don't know anything about it, go to the website, which Eric probably has on there too, and find out about us and come and pay us a visit. July 11th to the 14th in beautiful Alliston, just outside of Alliston, Ontario. It's not actually in Alliston.
And just a heads up for those of you listening that heard us talking about it being Western Ontario, the event location has changed, so it is just outside of Alliston now. So
Yes.
maybe that makes it easier for some to get to. If not, either way, it's not in Western Ontario anymore.
No,
Not well
if
for you.
I can find it in my notes here, which I can't, of course. I do have anyway. All the information's on the Facebook page of the website. You can go there and find it all out. The address, which is just outside of Alliston.
I'll throw it in the live chat as well.
All right, super. Hey, that's that. Oh, I found it. It's the Slovenian Hunt Club, 6436 Concession Road 4, Everett, Ontario, which is just a little north of Alliston. Easy to find, and it's really great site. Really great site. So it's going to be good.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
All right, Jeff, you got a weather blurb for us?
Yeah, I do. If I seem like I've kind of been tuned out the last little bit, I have. I'm actually actively watching a very serious tornado outbreak going on right now in Kentucky, in the area of Nortonville, Arlington, Madisonville. There's a tornado emergency going on. A very large, destructive tornado is going through there right now. If you're anywhere in Kentucky or near that area and you're not in a sheltered place, you need to be right now. This is a pretty bad situation going on right now. So for my weather blurb, I'm kind of going to be watching that as well. So obviously we haven't been on for a couple of weeks, and to say it's been an interesting weather times is an understatement. Hope you've been paying attention to the Discord. If you are not a member, you should get on there. I've been posting a lot of these kind of dangerous situations on the Discord. We've got a tornado section, a general weather section, I've been popping it in there. The environment's been ripe for the development of these storms, and that's going to continue for probably about the next week. And then I can see things sort of starting to calm down a little bit. But on the flip side, now we're coming into hurricane season. Official June 1st is the official start of hurricane season. So I thought I'd take this quick opportunity to give you guys a take on what I think the season's going to hold for hurricane season. If you're anywhere that is prone to hurricanes, Florida, anywhere around the Gulf, New Orleans, those kind of areas. I'm of the belief, and I'm far from being alone, that we're going to be in for a very, very active, much higher than average season. Believe it or not, last year was a bit above average. However, there were only 4 named storms that made landfall in the U.S. So just so everybody knows, when a storm happens, it starts as a tropical depression, it becomes a tropical storm, and once it reaches sustained winds of 40 miles per hour or more, it gets the name. And then it's a named storm, and as it moves up through the levels of the hurricane, Cat 1s, Cat 2s, whatever. So this year, like I said, I think things are going to be really different. There's a lot of evidence pointing towards a strong blocking high. So it's going to be a high pressure system. It's going to establish itself in the Atlantic around the Bermuda and Azores area. We're a bit early on it. The exact positioning, the strength of the high will determine a lot, but the preliminary projections are it's going to be strong. So what does that mean? It means that any hurricanes that form in the Caribbean and head towards the U.S., instead of maybe making a right turn and going up the Atlantic, they're going to have to keep going towards the U.S., and they're going to have to go around that high. So it's going to pull those storms much closer to the east coast of the U.S. So the Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and that's going to be enhanced by the fact that we're changing from an El Nino to a La Nina. And a La Nina is a cooler water in the Pacific. Because that water is cooler, you don't get a lot of storms on the Pacific side now. When the water was warm on the Pacific side, you got storms. They followed the prevailing westerly winds, and they would bump into or crash into hurricanes or any weather that was coming from the Caribbean heading towards the U.S., and it would either knock the storm down, change its direction. That's really not going to happen now. The trade winds are going to push those storms more to the U.S. As I've mentioned before, ocean temperatures in the Atlantic are very warm. And like I've said, warm waters and a hurricane, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. The ocean temperatures, like I say, in what they call the Atlantic Main Development Region, it's an area around the Lesser Antilles in Africa. It's already at peak summer temperatures. And we're not even the 1st of June yet, and they're already into temperatures that they usually get in late June, early July. These temperatures are higher than and earlier than the blockbuster years of 2005. Anybody remembers 2005? That was Katrina, Wilma, a whole bunch of damage. 2020, we had Laura and Ida. Again, same type setup. So, a lot of storm people, meteorologists, they're really starting to come into agreement that this is going to be a big busy year. So my prediction, on average, there's about 20 named storms a year. I think we're going to be pushing 23 to 24. The average number of storms that actually become hurricanes is 7. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say we're gonna be pretty close to a dozen, 11 to 12 hurricanes this year, and major hurricanes, so a Cat 3 above. Again, there's normally 3 of them. I think we're gonna have 5, 6 maybe even 7. You know, like I said, with all of those things going on, the blocking high, the warm ocean temperatures in the Caribbean, the La Nina and all that, I think we're going to be in for a very active hurricane season. So I'm putting the warning out now. I'm not trying to scare anybody or fear monger them. But if you get a hurricane warning, the good thing about hurricanes as opposed to tornadoes is, you know, days in advance when they're coming. So if you're in the path of one, I'm going to suggest that this year isn't the year that you want to try and ride one out. I would be packing my car, getting your go bag, your get out of town bag. We never use the one acronym. I like the inch bag, which is I'm not coming home.
Never.
So, you know, get your stuff and get out of Dodge. Don't play stupid.
Might be a good time to invest in a small trailer, pack everything in it, and get out of Dodge.
And a weatherproof bag.
Yep. Don't wait around.
Well, that too.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thanks, Jeff, for the weather update. Appreciate it. Into email iTunes reviews. So we did get some iTunes reviews here. I am cognizant of the time here as well. So I'll read the headings here and who wrote them in, because we've got 3, which is nice to see, because we don't get a lot of written reviews. So all 5 stars as well. So that's good. We had one from Night Shift for Life that says a great show. Another one from Mike 200,002 says relevant information and sensible practicality. So appreciate that. And then we got Kyle James C says a wealth of information. So that's awesome. Greatly appreciate that. And it sounds like someone's got some weather going on in the background.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry about that.
All good. That's just fitting for Jeff. Awesome. Well, with the thunder and lightning and those awesome reviews that we got written up on iTunes there, I will bring episode number 239 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast to an end. You can find the audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or, of course, your favorite podcast app. I'm pretty sure we get pushed out to almost all of them now. Please do submit a review like the ones above. It does encourage the algorithm, helps promote us, gets everybody to be able to find us on their searches, and, just helps us out.
And we do record these shows live on YouTube, Facebook if we have to. If you want an early peek at the shows, please subscribe to the YouTube channel Canadian Prepper Podcast and click the notifications tab. That will give you an alert when we are going live. If anybody wants to reach out to me, you can contact me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca, or as I've mentioned, I am frequently on the Discord.
Anyone wants to drop a line, it's bradcpp@gmail.com. And I like Denny's Denny's comment here. He's actually been suggesting the podcast to coworkers lately. Go, Denny.
Nice. You can find me Off the Wall Customizing at Gmail, probably other places. Technically, I'm on the Discord, but I don't check it. Got sidetracked from that. Or you can find me Monday nights at 9 o'clock on YouTube's on the other CPP discussing critiquing the government.
And you can reach me at the Annual Preppers Meet Facebook page, on their website, or my personal email at terrylblackmore@hotmail.com.
And you'll find me, the Frugal Gunny, on YouTube. I'm on Rumble, Facebook, Instagram, as well as the CPP Discord. And this summer I'll be in person at the Annual Preppers Meet.
Awesome. Well, you can check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com. You get me there on the live chat. You can also email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. Shocking. I'll be at the Annual Preppers Meet in person too if you want to chat there. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe.
And keep learning, and hopefully I will be at the Preppers Meet as well. I'd like to meet everybody.
As we wrap up another insightful episode of the Canadian Prepper Podcast, we want to extend our gratitude to our listeners for joining us on this journey of preparedness. Remember, the key to survival is knowledge and readiness. If you want to support the show and engage with our community further, consider signing up for our Patreon and joining our thriving community on Discord. Links are in the description. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. This is the Canadian Prepper Podcast, signing off. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe, and keep learning.